Welcome back, baseball fans. The 1974-77 All-Star Game Selection Show. We'll start with the American League All-Stars, and then we'll go to the National League All-Stars after a break. We'll just highlight and copy in the lineups over last year's lineups. 25 players per team, 16 hitters, 9 pitchers. The teams that were in the first place were given more consideration for more players. Teams in last place, just the minimum one player in most cases. There were some tough snubs. It's always the snub fest, so let's find out who's getting snubbed. All right, beginning the American League, we start at the top, and Willie Davis hitting .391. He goes to the All-Star game. He is the lone representative of the Expos. Well, that's good. The best hitter, best batting average in the American League goes to the All-Star game. He'll take a reserve outfield spot. We'll stick him in the spot that Maddox had a year ago there. All right. Next player on the list, Ron LaFleur, and he goes as well. He's one of 2 Tigers represented in the All-Star game. 25 steals, leads the American League with a .387 average. Let's see, did he go a year ago? We have the starters from a year ago, and we have the reserves here. We'll give him the Bobby Mercer start since he's in the National League now, of course. Got traded in the offseason. There you go. Simple as that. You copy over a guy from a year ago. All right, we have our first snub. So Mike Hargrove for the Texas Rangers. Unfortunately, he doesn't go to the All-Star game, which is a bit of a snub with a high average, not a lot of production otherwise. And his teammate will take over. Another snub is the White Sox Lamar Johnson not going as well because, again, he gets up mostly singles and doesn't do much else well, does Lamar. Nice utility role, Doug Flynn here. But one of the stars of the American League to this point has been George Orta of the defending champion Chicago White Sox. .365, 31 RBIs for a guy with just 85 at-bats because he plays against an occasional lefty, but a lot of times he sits. And he'll get the starting nod at second base in the All-Star game. We'll stick him in here in the Carew spot since Carew's no longer a second baseman. He's a first baseman. But the good news is you will see Carew eventually. Hint, hint, spoiler alert. So we'll just put him here now. All right, Orta is in. Next up, oh yeah, George Brett. White Sox and Royals starting a rivalry this year. And the Royals have a 2-game lead in their division. So Brett will be your starting third baseman in the American League. Nice. And then continuing in this is where the bats are, folks, in the Midwest. George Scott of your Milwaukee Brewers, he's going. He would be the lone representative of your Milwaukee squad. And he'll be the starting first baseman taking over, well, another Midwestern first baseman, John Mayberry. These guys were neck and neck for your 1975 home run title. And looks like Scott got him. And here's another pick, kind of a surprise, but not really. The numbers are fantastic. Ken Henderson is going, mostly because Lamar Johnson had a higher average. Henderson does everything else well. Hits in the middle of the lineup, can steal some bases, great defensive player. Last year with the Card, one of the big reasons the White Sox are near the top again, like they were a year ago. Ken Henderson is going to the All-Star game for the White Sox. He'll be a reserve outfield role. We'll put him in Claudell Washington's spot. All right, moving quickly, briskly here. All right, we got our first Cinderella. So the Seattle Mariners have to send somebody to the All-Star game. It's a neat story because Bob Stinson, who played for the Expos, this is a 3-team story. He played for the Expos. White Sox signed him in free agency. He platooned with Brian Downing for the White Sox last year. He got a World Series ring. White Sox put him on waivers. Picked up by the Mariners, who he played for in the late 70s. And he's going to the All-Star game because catching is kind of weak in the American League. So he is your reserve catcher. He'll take the Milt May spot. All right. All right, now we're going to get into some snubs as you get further down the list here. So no Mike Jorgensen, no Buddy Bell, but we have a Toronto Blue Jay. And this is a good story because it's the 1977 birth of the Blue Jays. Their best hitter was Bob Baylor at 310, and he's hitting 327. And the Blue Jays have to send somebody, just like Bob Stinson's going for the Mariners. So your Blue Jay player is Bob Baylor. He can actually play some shortstop and center field if you want. 2 positions, that's nice. He is your reserve outfielder because we're starting LaFleur. We'll put him at outfield utility. So I don't want to start Baylor. I want him just to be a outfield utility. Put him here. Again, we can jockey all the players around once they're on the team. All right, next up, here's a nice pick, and this is the Texas Ranger pick, Len Randall. So this is why Mike Hargrove's not going, because Len Randall can play second, third, and short. He's the perfect utility man for the American League. He's got 20 RBIs and 6 stolen bases. That's, of course, better than Hargrove. So a nice story for Len Randall. I think this card has gone in the All-Star game several times for this exact same reason. He hits 300 every year, and, well, he's versatile. The selection people love versatile players, so he becomes the middleman, taking Dave Cash's spot. Hit the copy there. So let's put him right there. Len Randall, nice. All right. So Rod Carew is going to the All-Star game as the Twins' lone representative. I was thinking not to do this, but the rest of the Twins have been even worse. He's in 321, but it's like 60 points below his batting average. But he's the Twins' star. But we can't find stats. We look for stars. In this case, Carew's the star. He's not starting. We'll just stick him into the utility spot where Larry Lentz is down here. I think I'm going to start Ken Henderson in this All-Star game, now I think about it. Yeah, let's start him. There we go, and we'll just erase him there. Sounds good. All right, now we're going to move into a bunch of snubs here, but there's some interesting numbers come about. Rick Miller's numbers are weird. 76 at-bats, whatever, that's fine. Guy's got 4 homers and 21 RBIs. Where is that coming from? Well, they gave him power on his card for one thing, and then he's rolled 1-2 or 1-3. He's rolled those dice rolls a few times. But the 21 RBIs, great story, not an all-star story though. Baltimore's best hitter is Bunbury, but he doesn't bring a lot other than the average. Kansas City's Al Cowens will come. Funny thing is, he hit 312 with the card he's using, and he's hitting 312 right now. Homers and RBIs aren't glamorous. The Royals aren't they're not a team that puts glamorous numbers up. It's a steady lineup, but Al Cowens, because the Royals in first place, will go to the All-Star game. He'll get the starting right field spot here. All right. Now we're going to get into some Snubsville again. Mumphrey, Soderholm. Reggie's not even going, folks. Can you believe it? Because Oakland's had great pitching, and their one hitter is a position of need. So, real disappointing, Reggie Jackson. Frankly, he had other things to do. Kind of like a I'm not starting, I'm not departing kind of situation. They would have had 4 representatives otherwise. But they're sending Campaneris in his place. Frankly, you could say Reggie deferred to Campaneris. They both hit 310. Campaneris had more steals. Of course, Reggie's got more homer RBI. We get that. But we need a shortstop desperately in these All-Star games. That's the hardest position to cover. And the American League's got an All-Star shortstop, Bert Campaneris. He'll take over Belanger's spot last year. I didn't even see. I don't think Reggie went to the All-Star game last year either. He wasn't in here anywhere. It's no biggie to Reggie. So Gamble having a nice start. Pachora got snubbed because the lone representative of Seattle is that catcher. Tough break there. We wanted to get Brooksy into the All-Star game as an honorarium, but no room really for that, unfortunately, for Brooks. American League, I said they're short on catchers. Well, they got a catcher by name, and that's Cliff Johnson. 303, 6 homers, 24 RBI. So there's your production at the catching position in the American League right now. And Cleveland's doing very well, so they have multiple representatives. So he will start and take the Phil Roof spot. It's funny, they're both big slugging catchers. Cliff Johnson and Phil Roof with that monster 75 card. So how many spots do we have left here? We have the DH spot and the other utility spot. All right, we know who those are. So the next two guys, Jim Rice will be the lone Red Sox representative because they've had such a terrible year. He will be a reserve outfielder on the list for the Red Sox. And the last hitter, we have to scroll down because the production doesn't involve batting average. But your top, well, we have Bill Robinson. We have two guys, Bill Robinson and Bill Robinson and Dick Allen are both going to the All-Star game. So here's Bill Robinson. I might have Carew in here twice. Davis, oh, right here. Yeah, corner man, that's right. We're putting Bill Robinson at corner man because he's played third base all year for the Ohio players, even though he's not very good defensively. The defense doesn't matter too much in these All-Star games. They're just getting guys in there. And he's got the bat. And he actually went to the game a year ago as an outfielder. So now he goes in as an infielder. And the last stick, scrolling further down, seeing more homers and RBIs, is our boy Dick Allen, leading the American League in RBIs with 33. He's the third representative for the White Sox. All offense, no pitching. He'll be the starting DH for the American League. We'll just keep this thing going right into the pitching now. We've got the position players. So the American League has had the great pitching. The National League's had the great hitting this year. So let's get into the pitching, and we start right at the top. What a year for Wayne Garland. 0.54 ERA for a starting pitcher at the All-Star break. It might be a record, which is a kooky thing to even think about. Don Sutton's had a sub-1 ERA. I think he had 0.98. He's helped by a fewer number of innings pitched, I suppose. Normally in the more innings you pitch, eventually you're going to give up 3 or 4 runs in a game, and there blows your 0.54 ERA. So Wayne Garland is your all-star starter, I gotta believe. Looking at this staff right now, it might be a complete turnover. I think it is. I don't think any of these guys you're looking at here, Blyleven, Lee, Wood, Hooten, Fitterich, Philcott, McMahon, Lockwood, and Murray, none of these guys go in the all-star game. 2.96 ERA a year ago for the American League. Well, it's going to be different. Hopefully lower. Probably lower. Wayne Garland. Next guy, we got a snub, folks. Paul Splittorff. Ticked off. They didn't get Splittorff in the All-Star game. His innings as a number 3 starter are really on the lower side of things compared to some of these other guys that we are sending. He's got the great ERA. Basically, Garland sort of stole Splittorff's Cinderella spot as a number 3 starter. Couldn't really get both of these guys into the game. We're going to the Tigers' number 2 guy, Dave Rozema, who has outpitched Mark Fitterich. I think he shut out the Red Sox twice in that YouTube series of Red Sox Tigers. 5-2, 1.68 ERA for Dave Rozema. We'll just plug him into the Fitterich spot since they were teammates a year ago. All right. Next up, the lone Yankee representative, Ron Guidry. Guidry and Rice from the Yankees and Red Sox. Their stars will also probably factor in the offseason. Says they'll be drafting very high, unusually high, and the amazing Ron Guidry card of 78, the Yankees will select, and the Jim Rice card of 78, the Red Sox will select, we believe, until otherwise something else comes up. All right, Baltimore again. If they're in first place and you haven't seen any hitters, it must be because of the pitchers, and it's going to be Mike Cuellar. A 2.04 ERA with a 74 card. He was no spring chicken when he came to Baltimore. He was 32 years old, leaving Houston for the 1969 Orioles. And people seem to think that, oh, he had this long career with Baltimore. It really didn't. It was just in the limelight. He grabbed the limelight before the Orioles for 6 years or so. Great story, Mike Cuellar. And he will take the Wilberwood spot here. All right, next on the list, we got some snubs. This twin player could have gone. Andy Hassler could have gone, but he sent Carew instead. And we went with a better lefty, Frank Tanana. Because the Angels are doing so well this year, they have 2 representatives. Both pitchers, of course. Frank Tanana kind of had a red-hot start with some shutouts, and then he tailed off a little bit. Still has a 2.36 ERA. We'll stick him in the Hooten spot here. All right. I think we need 4 more pitchers. Oh, yeah. 1 starter and 3 relievers. All right, so we have to scroll down just a little bit to find the... Funny thing is, the Cy Young favorites, Tanana was the first Cy Young favorite, then he lost 3 games. And then Catfish Hunter was 7-0, then he lost 2 games. So the Cy Young is up for grabs again. I guess Wayne Garland should be the front runner. But he's really got to get these innings pitched up, or he's not going to qualify for that. Catfish Hunter back to the All-Star game. Has often started when he gets to the game. We'll put him here. 6 starting pitchers for the American League. Makes sense if you've got the better pitching. You only need 3 relievers. All right. All right, now down to the relievers. We're going to have to scroll down a little bit here. And we're snubbing Rich Gossage. We're not going to send him because he has 2 losses. That if he doesn't lose these games, maybe the White Sox are in first. Skip Lockwood, 4.19 ERA, he gets a snub. Randy Moffett arguably should be the Red Sox All-Star, but he never played for the Red Sox. He's just done great stuff. He still has lost 2 games as well with a 2.25 ERA. Nice story, but nice stories aren't necessarily All-Stars. Jim Kern is a nice, better than nice story with a 1.23 ERA for the first place Indians. He's their second representative. Man, what a nasty guy this guy was before he had some arm problems. And then he came back and had a, you know, he lasted till the mid 80s, I believe. 82, 83, I think. Jim Kern, we'll put him here. All right, now we have to get our lefty reliever. Got to go all the way down to the low innings pitched because his team hasn't needed him that much, but he's been perfect. No, seriously, really perfect. There's been a lot of, actually, Dyer Miller has been perfect for Baltimore, right there. I see a 0.90 right here for Elias Sosa for the Blue Jays with 6 saves. He could have been the Toronto representative, but he didn't pitch for them either. We're going Dave LaRoche for your first place Angels. Perfect. 10 2/3 scoreless innings, 5 saves. Dave LaRoche. Which leaves one final player at the closer, Dale Murray. Year ago, 0.73 ERA and 7 saves. Not as good this year for whatever reason. Way down here again in the low innings pitched realm. Here we are. Raleigh Fingers is back after missing an All-Star game. He's back in it here. For Oakland, he's their 3rd representative. Oakland, the White Sox had 3 representatives. The Angels, the Royals, the Indians, and Orioles had 2 representatives, and everybody else had 1. So it's pretty even distribution in the American League. He'll take the Dale Murray spot. All right, and that concludes the American League, who bring a sparkling 1.88 earned run average to the All-Star game. We've already documented the lowest ERA of a starting pitcher in the National League is Bob Force's 2.52. So that's that's the bar the American League is trying to set with pitching and defense in a low-scoring All-Star game. High-scoring All-Star game favors the National League. All right, we'll take a quick pause, and then we'll give you the National League. All right, folks, we're back here now with the National League All-Stars. We begin with the top hitter in baseball in plate appearances and average, which is a staggering thing. Possible MVP candidate Al Oliver, your Pittsburgh Pirates, one of their 2 representatives. Al Oliver will be making the start for the National League. He'll be doing it in center field. Still can play center, left, and first base. So he'll take, look at that, Dave Parker's spot, who's not going, his teammate from a year ago. So we'll copy that here into this. All right. Next up, Arizona's lone representative, their new player, Roger Freed, with just 80 at-bats because he's limited to a certain quantity because of his extra player card. But the rest of the National League has no problem with this guy going the All-Star game, as he could pinch hit and help this team win. He's probably just going to have 1 bat in the All-Star game as a pinch hitter, which is what he was known for. So Roger Freed will be the Arizona representative. And we'll just plug him in here into the utility spot where Fregosi was. Okay. Ralph Carr was snubbed. A teammate took his place. You'll see later. Tim McCarver is your starting National League catcher with a .396 batting average. Are you kidding me? Am I going to snub that? Heck no, not for a catcher, my goodness. Tim McCarver's going. He gets the starting nod, too. For such a performance, look at last year's catcher, Bob Montgomery, .349, .923. Woo! My goodness. So Tim McCarver is in the All-Star game. Gary Maddox got snubbed because the Phillies had so many hitters, we couldn't take them all. Bill Madlock, your starting third baseman for the National League. Won the batting title in 1975, hitting .354. Hitting .378 here. He'll be your starting third baseman for the American League. By the way, Schmidt started a year ago. Don't worry, friends. He'll come back as the backup. These are Schmidt stats from a year ago. They're better this year. But Madlock's stats last year were terrible in comparison, so there you go. No Big McBride, just 78 at-bats. Griffey, because the Reds have been .500, he doesn't go either. Here's a nice story for the Las Vegas lone representative. How about a team that can't hit at all? Sandy Alomar actually beats his teammate Kurt Bavacqua for the All-Star spot. Because we know Bavacqua's got that monster extra player card, just like Roger Freed does. But Alomar is more deserving as an everyday second baseman, a switch-hitting 2 defensive second baseman. And he's going to start, folks. National League doesn't have a lot of second basemen doing well this year. He'll take Davey Johnson's spot. Nice. So no Bavacqua, no Parker. Here's another Cinderella story. You're going to see Cinderella stories more in the National League because you got more fictional teams. You got Arizona, Las Vegas, Colorado, Portland, and Florida. Plus 11 traditional MLB teams. So Ted Martinez was a utility player for the Dodgers, the Reds, Expos during his career. .352 and 105 at-bats for Portland. He takes the Bob Montgomery spot from a year ago from that franchise, and we'll just plug him right into the middleman spot that Lee Lacy used to have. Yeah, right here. Okay. Reverend, nice numbers. Jose Morales, nice numbers. We decided to go with a lot of baseball history when it gets to be like tiebreaker time. So Willie Stargell actually outperformed guys like Dave Parker, Ralph Garr, anyway. And it's Stargell. 6 homers, 26 RBIs, .348 average. It's funny, but the Stargell cards of 71 and 72, which were brilliant, often struggled. Then he gets into his 73, 74 cards, and he's tearing it up. Weird as he gets older. He gets like a fine wine. Willie's playing much better in Strat-O-Matic in the last few years with the older cards. Stargell is in reserve outfield spot. We'll give him the Griffey spot. Nice there. All right, no Bonnell, no Luzins, no Buckner. Buckner's a snub, but look, no home runs for a left fielder. Come on, does have 8 stolen bases to make up for it. Greg the Bull Luzinski in just 99 at bats, because I guess he comes out for defense, maybe. Has the 10 homers, 31 RBIs, and a .333 average. He's going to start. Let's compare his numbers because he was a reserve a year ago. So last year, .339, .521. He's doubled his home runs. We're going to get him in the starting outfield spot. We'll put him right here, where Big McBride is. Greg LeBull Luzinski, nice. All right. Montgomery gets snubbed, even though his numbers are almost the same as they were a year ago, as is Ron Bloomberg. Von Joshua, nice numbers there. Stevie Ray Braun in Arizona. National League, like I said, the National League's got plenty of offense this year. You got Cardinal doing great stuff at a leadoff spot for the Cubs. This surprising Boyce Claire on the Mets. We gotta look at Mike Schmidt, whose numbers are actually better than they were a year ago. Still going to the game, he's just not starting because Madlock's been better. He's your corner. They'll take the Dave Kingman spot, and rightly so. Let's get that name off there. Yeah, erase that. Nice. Okay. Mike Schmidt's gone. Rennie Stennett, another 300 hitting. The Pirates hit 310 as a team, so hit 300 is not that big a deal. The Cardinals have 2 representatives, amazingly, as all the teams in the North were given 2 representatives because it's just a tough division all around. So the Cardinals did get 2. And Lou Brock is going because of the 21 stolen bases. And the last time we'll see the AAA card of his. So the funny part about it is he slumped early in the year terribly. Or he started hot, then he slumped terribly, but he started stealing bases more later. Got thrown out a ton as well. Lou Brock, we got him down as DH utility. Well, Roger Freed's down here. That's right. We'll put him at this spot, where the other Luzinski spot. All right. Oh, actually, I didn't realize we had a Lou Brock spot a year ago. There it is. So there's Lou Brock a year ago. 370 and 22 stolen bases. This year, 313, 21 stolen bases. All right. Office, money, gross pres. George Foster down here. 12 homers, 36 RBIs, a 309 average. He's all that in a bag of chips, folks. George Foster. He's starting. Lazinski, so he starts in left. Hank Aaron, interesting. Hank Aaron's numbers, look at those. Actually, you know what? Let's just put him in the McRae spot for now. We can move him around during the game. Make him start. Want to save the surprise here a little longer. So Foster is in. Houston's Jose Cruz led the club in hitting. I wasn't going to put an outfielder with no homers and 8 RBIs into the All-Star game. Houston's had a dreadful season. Their one player will be a reliever, so we'll see him later. Then you have Snubville for a while until we get here. Hank Aaron is your Atlanta representative, and his last year in Atlanta made sense. This is why Ralph Garr got snubbed earlier. Only one of the Braves could go because they're having a terrible season. And why not let it be Hank? The All-Star game was in Atlanta a year ago, and so was Hank. And those are Hank's numbers a year ago. Actually, the All-Star game, was in Kansas City in 1973. But in Major League Baseball, I believe the All-Star game was in Atlanta. We'll just plug his numbers right here. So they're down a little bit because he's in a new card, but it's still Hank Aaron. All right. Rick Monday, the Colorado representative. 297, 9 and 26. Great defense. Great reserve player to have on your All-Star squad for late in the games. Sometimes when these All-Star games go extra innings, the reserves play more than the starters, so you've got to consider that possibility. All right. This is the Luzinski we can erase, correct? Yeah, because he's starting. Okay. I ain't starting, I ain't departing, Gary Templeton once said. All right, we're going to have some snubs here. And then Johnny Bench is going back. Nice rally. Got really hot right before the All-Star break, which is good news for the Reds. Because they won their last 4 games, and Bench was a nice part of that. 293, 930 a year ago. This year. 291, 628. A little lower on the home runs. Average about the same. So Fried, Monday, Stargell, Brock, Martinez. Do we have everybody? Oh, we need a first baseman and a shortstop. Okay, we got that. Our first baseman, no-brainer here, Steve Garvey for the first place Dodgers, who sent a record 4 players to the All-Star game. I guess you can guess the other 3 are pitchers. Steve Garvey is in the All-Star game as the first baseman here. All right, and then we have to scroll down a little bit to find your All-Star shortstop. Here he is, Chris Spire, who, by the way, went to like 3 straight All-Star games. I think in his rookie year, 71, 2, 3, or 4, some combination of that. So Chris Spire is your lone San Francisco representative. He's your All-Star shortstop out of default. The good news is he doesn't have to play the whole game. You do have Ted Martinez who can play second, third, or short. That's what the middleman does. So yeah, McCarver, Garvey, Alomar, Madlock, Spire. Aaron's going to start DH. Foster's going to start in left field. Oliver in center. Lazinski in right. With bench, Schmitty, Martinez, Lou Brock, Stargell, Monday, and Roger Freed. All right. And now let's just go right to the pitching. We don't have to take a break. Let's just go right there. Remember, the National League's about hitting and the American League's about pitching this crazy season. So we're starting at the top with the lowest ERA of a starting pitcher in the National League. It is Bob Forsch. Don't know if he's going to start it or not, as the Cardinals are in last place, but he's going to the All-Star game. He's the second St. Louis representative. Do we have any Cardinals here? I don't see any Cardinals here. Boy, let me see here. Only one pitcher is coming back from the National League, which is crazy because only none from the American League. So we'll stick him in the middle here, Forsch. All right. Gary Nolan was snubbed not because he pitched darn well for the Reds, because the Reds just aren't good enough. They're a 500 team, so I wasn't going to give him a third representative. I gave Foster and bench 2 MVPs. So Gary Nolan, you're the big reason why this team does not have a losing record, frankly. That's a great story. And if you even want to follow even more, when Gary Nolan pitches well, the Reds are in the World Series. So follow that logic. All right, next, Tommy John and Andy Messersmith. They're both going to the All-Star game. We can color these in both at once. Don Sutton is not, but the next 2 guys are, because something has to be propelling these Dodgers to the All-Star game. So we'll put these guys in the top 2 spots here, to the chagrin of the rest of the National League. All right, we'll erase this Don Sutton there. All right. No Dick Ruthin or Phil Niekro or John Curtis. Randy Jones, your lone Padre representative and a lefty, goes to the All-Star game. We'll put him in the Durker spot. All right. Now we got to scroll down a little bit because of the ERA, but Rick Russell is the 5th starter, as the National League is going with 4 relievers. Makes sense. You're not pitching well anyway. Might as well get those low relief ERAs on the board at least. So Rick Russell's a nice story. 7-2. Does have a 3.27 ERA, a little on the high side, but that's okay. National League is all about offense, it would seem. I think Messersmith's going to start, then they'll go to the lefty John, then Russell, then a lefty Jones, then Forsch. And then they'll have the 4 relievers. 4 relievers on the list here, so we're going to have to scroll down to find these guys, and I'll put them in order of longest to closer. So we're going to go all the way to the bottom here, where innings are lean, to find the Florida Marlin representative. If I can even find him here. There he is. Just 11 innings for Oscar Zamora, who used to be a Cub. He's got 7 saves and a .164 ERA in 11 innings. Does have 2 losses, unfortunately. But the Marlins needed a representative. Oddly enough, Manny Mota's hitting like 286 with a 395 card, so he's not nowhere near the All-Star game. That's all right. National League has their pinch hitter, Roger Freed. So we'll put Zamora in the Ray Burris spot. Ray Burris is in the All-Star game? I Thought I would have remembered something as weird as that. All right. We have a lefty reliever. And this is the lone Houston representative. If I can even find him. There he is. Joe Sambito. 12 innings, a 2 1/4 ERA, just 3 saves because there's not... Okay, they've won 4 games, have the Astros. They're 4 wins and 18 losses. That's how bad the Astros season has been. They got the first pick in the draft just about locked up. So he saved 3 of their 4 games. That deserves something, right? So he becomes the lefty specialist for the National League. And he'll gladly take the Al Rabowski spot, who's been terrible this season. A lot of people don't believe me when I say what terrible is. Do you really want to know what terrible is? It's right there. It's right beneath him. I ain't a misprint, folks. That's 11 1/4. What is that, like ribeye on a good day? Half pound? Got me. Boy, Al Rabowski, just terrible. Awful. All right, we've got 2 more pitchers left, and then we have a wrap for this thing. All right. We saw this story in the previous video about the Met and Philly closers. We can revisit it here briefly. Here they are. Back to back. So McGraw was traded from the Mets to the Phillies, and Apotico was elevated to closer. They both pitched 17 2/3 innings. Now, Apotico's 2-2 with 7 saves. McGraw, 3-0, 9 saves. McGraw's not going. Apotico's going. He's got a 1.02 ERA. He's pitched in some terrible luck. The inherited runner has scored in a couple games against him. And McGraw's getting led up to a 3.57 ERA, yet his team has bailed him out. He has no losses because he gives up runs to blow the save. The game's tied, and the Phillies go and win it. That's a theme we have seen for these 2 players. So Bob Apotico goes to the All-Star game. We'll just stick him right down here in the Max Leon spot. And finally and lastly, the final pitcher for the National League and the 4th Dodger representative, and a guy who needs more work. He always does. He'll always need more work. He'll never have enough. Mike Marshall we're talking about, the 1974, 208 innings of Mike Marshall. He is starving. He's hungry. He is hungry. Give him a bowl of Wheaties or something. He's only pitched 13 2/3 innings this year. He's got a 198 ERA and 6 saves. Why? Because Dodgers are blowing teams out. He's like the Maytag repairman out there, but, you know, no losses, no blown saves. Mike Marshall. We'll take that. Unfortunately, the World Series, he threw that home run to Joe Rudy in the clinching game for Oakland. He might be remembered for that, which is a shame. But Mike Marshall goes back to the All-Star game. Last year, 4-0, 8 saves. But look at this, 4.35 ERA. Very Tug McGraw-esque. You see this high ERA and no losses? That's what happens. He comes in to close a 3-run lead, blows it, and the team goes and wins. This year, statistically, Marshall's been better. And the Dodgers are better now than they were a year ago when they got hot in the playoffs to reach the World Series. Now they're already hot. All right, we can take a look at the composite stats of the 2 teams. See if I can move this over a little bit to get all of the numbers in there at once. Okay. So the hitting, 329 for the American League, 336 for the National League, but 68, 303, 95, 336, 79 stolen bases for the American League. Woo! Hey, slow down there, cowboy. You get a speeding ticket. They got a radar zone there. So who's the starting catcher? McCarver. Oh boy, Tim, you're in a load of trouble. So Bench might have an early day coming in with his -4. I'm going to slow the Ron LaFleurs and the Burke Campaneris and the George Bretts and the Ken Henderson's down. My goodness. Plus you got Randall, Willie Davis. Yeah. That's some special speed there for the American League. Pitching. You see the 425 innings because starter dominant. Just 359 for the National Leaguers, realizing their starters haven't been that great, going with a lot of relievers. 34 and 13, 29 and 14. Just 21 saves for the American League, 23 for the National League. But here's your big gap right here. American League's got a $1.88 earned run average. National League, 265. Wow. Who's going to win, folks? Well, we can look at the where's the actual game at? So a year ago, the National League went to the American League Park and won 4-2 in that one. Don't have all the results here because they've been erased. But the All-Star Game's in Pittsburgh this year. It's 1974. We go with the first year of the timeline. Gaylord Perry started for the American League. The story of that All-Star Game was that the Reds and Pirates had a weekend series in Pittsburgh, and there was a brawl in the Sunday game. And then immediately those Reds are right back to Pittsburgh for the All-Star Game. And those Reds, I'm talking about Rose Morgan Bench, I should say. Rose Morgan Bench, and they got booed lustily by those Pirates fans. Plus, the manager was the Met manager, not the Reds manager. So, but he put the 3 Cincinnati players at the top of that lineup to get screamed at by Pirates fans. So that's the story of that All-Star Game. Don't have to worry about it this year because Bench is a reserve and Foster is a reserve. So we won't have to worry about that. So that is your World Series wrap show. We'll have the All-Star Game, pardon me, get a little ahead of myself. All-Star Game wrap show. And we'll have the All-Star Game tomorrow. Hope you tune in for that. Should be a lot of fun. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.